welcome to another episode of Ask Dr. Wu. Today we're here with the incomparable JMAC at his new facility, Vive Personal Training. And today we're going to talk about testosterone. And I know that it's a common question I get in the clinic, which is like, when do I know when I have decreased testosterone? So I'm just going to give you an overview of testosterone. As a man, your peak testosterone rates are going to be at around 18 to 21, and from there we actually go on a slow peak down. Now, things that will generally happen with your body when you have decreased testosterone is you're definitely going to increase abdomen weight, so just fat around your stomach, umbilical. So you're also going to be decreased in sleep. You're going to feel lethargic, you're just going to feel tired all the time, and it's hard to keep muscle mass. So we're going to actually have JMAC talk about a little bit about, what are some natural things that we can do to increase our testosterone levels.
So just to piggyback off of what Dr. Wu said, a lot of times the things that can actually interfere with our hormonal production of testosterone naturally comes from environmental causes. So just to piggyback off of what he said, we're going to start with sleep. Yeah. Sleep is number one, guys, for body composition. Sleep is number one for optimizing our hormonal profile and balancing those out. So you always have to address sleep. And a lot of people, they'll come in and say, hey, I get good sleep because they sleep from a certain time to a certain time. There's a series of questions that I always like to ask. And number one is, do you wake up at any point during the night?
Do you get good sleep throughout the night? Is it like that stage 4 REM sleep? Are you deep in sleep, or are you kind of like in that light sleep?
Lighter sleep. You have to wake up. You have to go to the bathroom. Is there any light in the room? It's number 2.
Yeah.
People don't really understand, but they've done studies, guys, where even if the light is just shined on your leg, your body will wake up and it will stop the production of melatonin, which allows us to stay in those deeper levels of sleep. That's always number 2. We want to be in a pitch black room. If I put my hand in front of my face, I shouldn't be able to see it. Mm-hmm. Number 3 for sleep is, do you wake up without an alarm? That's a telltale, guys, for essentially your circadian rhythm of your cortisol production, okay? And so cortisol is a big factor when we talk about management of testosterone and male hormones and androgen. So that's a quick telltale. If you had to wake up to an alarm, or if you don't rise up on your own with good energy, that's another telltale sign that we use.
So cortisol is a hormone that is in our bodies that actually increases when you're super stressed. And I have tons of patients that come and see me. Who's not, right? But I get tons of patients that come in with increased stress in their life. And when you have increased stress in your life, you have increased cortisol levels. When you have increased cortisol levels, you don't get very good sleep, which by then doesn't give you very good production of testosterone.
Absolutely. And so when we talk about cortisol, it really comes into cortisol management, because there's really no way to eliminate those stresses of life, guys. If you get cut out by a car, you spike up the adrenaline. That's a stress response, the same as it would be if a lion walked in the room right now.
Yeah.
You're going to jump up, right?
Right.
It's an extreme response, but that same phenomenon happens even if somebody just cuts you off in the car, guys. So what it really comes back to is just re-providing the micronutrients necessary to mitigate cortisol. And that's what it all goes back into. If you don't have quality B vitamins, if you don't have vitamin C, if you don't have magnesium, if you don't have zinc, you cannot mitigate cortisol. And so if you're deficient in those nutrients, that is one of the first places you can start, just by adding maybe a quality multivitamin, or making sure you add more pure fish or green vegetables into the diet.
Another great way of decreasing cortisol, and for me, this is what I do. Every morning, I just take 5 minutes to meditate, and every night before I go to bed, I take 5 minutes to meditate. It just helps bring down my stress levels and also just quiets the chatter that's in my mind. And that in itself can help decrease some of your cortisol levels and help you manage that throughout the day.
Absolutely. Another kind of the fourth criteria is like regional distribution of body fat. Generally, cortisol is going to be an issue if you are gaining more weight around the umbilical skin fold, and that's actually 1 inch over from the belly button. You can just grab that area and go like that. That area should be quite paper thin, guys. If that skin fold is pretty thick, then we already know that cortisol is an issue. The corresponding skin fold site for that is the pec, and that they go 1 and 2, and also the tricep. So for men, you should be able to see the veins through the tricep, or skin folds are too high. We know that there's some mismanagement of androgen hormones. So that's some things that we look at on our side
Yeah.
from the skin photo analysis that we can kind of quantify and work back off
Yeah.
of and change some things nutritionally or address sleep or maybe address some micronutrient deficiencies.
So what you're saying is, if you've been gaining weight or gaining fat,
more regionally.
right, more regionally, if you just feel like you're looking in the mirror and you're like, okay, I got some fat in the stomach, maybe some fat in my pec area or in my tricep area, if you've seen that increase in fat there, then you probably have spiked in your cortisol levels and you've probably decreased your testosterone levels.
Absolutely, because it just actually increases what's called the aromatase enzyme, which actually causes us to convert the testosterone we are producing back into estrogen, and that estrogen increases our total estrogen and then binds to some of those receptor sites that
Right.
are regionally located on our body. So that's some of the back end work that we look at,
Yeah.
how we address that.
So how do we nutritionally, really get at
Doc,
decreasing the cortisol levels?
From the nutritional standpoint, the number one thing I see is lack of dietary fat in the
Yeah.
diet. There's no saturated fat, there's no cholesterol in the diet. It's very hard to even absorb some micronutrients like
Yeah.
vitamin D, vitamin E, some of the vitamin A's.
Which are fat
magnesium,
soluble. They're fat soluble vitamins. So you
magnesium.
actually need to have fat in your diet to be able to actually digest those vitamins.
Absolutely. And so that's generally the number one thing that I see people do. Moderate carb, lower fat,
Yeah.
higher protein diet.
Right.
Guys, you have to have fat. As a male, you have to have fat in the diet. You need quality fats, avocados, olive oils,
Butters.
butters, any butters.
Yeah.
The list goes on. Feta cheeses. The list goes on and on, but they have to be done.
Right, and it's a common myth that we actually should have like non-fat or decrease our fat in our diets. Our diets and a more balanced diet should include 20% in your diet of fats. And
Yeah, minimum, yeah.
minimally.
For sure.
And so, I love coffee. I can't stop drinking coffee. I can, but it's terrible. And I put butter in my
2 cups a
coffee,
day.
right? I put butter, I put coconut
Coconut
oil,
oil.
and I put grass-fed butter. And that helps increase my fat intake because I know that my fat intake during the day isn't high, and it helps me really get that into the body. And another reason why you want to increase fats in your diet is if you actually look at testosterone, there is the chemistry of it. You need to have some fats in it, the actual chemistry in it.
You won't even get to those byproducts of cholesterol.
Yeah.
Cholesterol is the building block to get into the androgen hormone. So if that's low, that process is going to get mitigated, guys.
So, in kind of conclusion, these are some things that you can do to help increase your testosterone. However, the one thing that I would actually tell you to do is find an MD that can take a good blood panel.
Absolutely, yeah. That blood panel is very quick. They can check.
Yeah.
They can even check for cortisol levels and how well they are. It's just a salivary test that's 4
Right.
point.
Uh-huh.
And they also can do blood work and check free testosterone, total testosterone,
Right.
and estradiol. So
Right. And
vitamin D levels as well.
right, and we need a baseline, right? That's the only reason we're doing it. We need a baseline to see where you're at. You can't just add this type of stuff into your diet
You don't
or
know
into your
where you
life.
are.
Exactly. If you don't know where you are, you don't know where to start. So the very first thing you need to do is find a very good health professional to at least get you the baseline to see where you're at, and then you can go on further from there. So if anybody wanted to get a hold of you, JMAC, how would they get a hold of you?
Guys, we're located right inside the Centrum on Cedar Spring and Oak Lawn. Our website is www.trainvibe.com. We'll put a hashtag or link down low. You can check us out there and just give us a shout, swing by the gym, check out our facility.
All right, guys, thanks for staying tuned. If you need to get a hold of me, you know how to get a hold of me. All my wonderful social media stuff is down there. And move free, humans.